Chief, come on up here and you give us a little chat about what's going on.
Thank you, Al. Darrell Park is passing out some the maps that Sarah Sage made. If you guys remember Sarah Sage, she actually was able to document where all the trash comes from. And you can see we get a lot from down on the border of Tijuana and San Diego. It's upside down. So, we get a lot on the border there of Tijuana and San Diego. Right now, they're allowed to take 6,000 tons a day. They're asking for 12,000 tons a day. Here's the catch. They have a contract with us they were supposed to have closed. There's a contract made 19 years ago. Whenever I go to any meeting, people pull me aside and go, oh, Catherine Barger, she's a friend of mine. And she says they're not going to get everything they asked for. Just give them 10 more years and they'll close. Antonovich made that promise to us 19 years ago. We're tired of promises. What they're passing out now is exactly this map. But I'll put it up here so you can see where everything goes. I asked Darrell Park to come because out of all the politicians who've been to the landfill and say how wonderful it smells, only one politician in all these years came to Val Verde. He talked to us. He got to hear our stories. So I asked him to come. He's been helping us, actually. Chiquita Canyon Landfill was supposed to close at 23 million tons. Sally White went to a press conference with me 3 days before the press conference. We get a call. Oh, no, they got a clean hands waiver. They can keep going. The county has said, well, they haven't made up their mind. But at the Val Verde Community Advisory Committee meeting, where Rosalind Wayman oversits, the one thing she said that caught me funny was, and I'm sure she didn't want it to get out there, and it's taped, all we've been focused on at the county is getting this DEIR approved. I think the county's made up their mind. They're not supposed to take sludge. If I go to the last documents of their intake and I type in the word sewer, it keeps coming up. Sewer, 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 sewer line. I call AQMD and I go, what do they mean by sewer line? They go, what do they mean they're taking sludge? It's sewer. But they're not supposed to. I want to go back to clean hands waiver. I have notes, but I'm going to probably go off them. On the clean hands waiver, when they said they had the clean hands waiver, this is where it gets really funny. Zoning was at the meeting a week before, and we sat with zoning. And zoning goes, any violations, we're there. We're there. We're going to write them up. Any violations. And then they gave us this wonderful report of where they spent the whole day at Chiquita Canyon Landfill. And Susan Evans was in the office. She goes, what day was that? Oh, it was this day. And there was no violations. No violations. They were amazing. She goes, can I show you some pictures? She shows them pictures. And she goes, is this a violation? It's trucks stopped up on the 126, so it's actually a traffic danger. That's a definite violation. If we were there, we would have wrote a ticket. When was that? She goes, look at the date. It was when you were there. Oh, well, she must have been inside. The zoning will not write violations. And why would you write violations when you are getting $700,000 a month from the landfill? Why would you write any violation when the county gets that? Why would the county even step in? The county has claimed that they've never heard that we're getting sick in Val Verde. Go back for 20 years to VBCAC meetings. You're going to see us saying, hey, we're not feeling well. Rosalind Wayman sits there. Go to the Castaic Town Councils. We say, look, we need you to stand up for us. We're sick. We have people that have cancer. Rosalind Wayman was there. Go to Val Verde meetings. We say we're sick. A county official was there. So they're not saying that we didn't hear complaints. What they're saying is we refuse to listen, which is completely different. I'm going really fast. Oh, Sunshine. They won. And Val Verde showed up. We showed up to fight for Sunshine. We said, you know what? No, they shouldn't put up with this stench. In the mornings, they were getting 6,000 tons of pure stench, which was affecting about 10,000 houses. They won. So, of course, Chiquita Canyon, they know Val Verde showed up, so they went to the papers and say, well, we're not going to take it. We don't have room. We're at capacity. So I go to the meeting and I say, you're at capacity now, but if you get your approval for 12,000, will you take Sunshine? We'll take whatever they give us. They're going to take Sunshine. We're going to take the stinky stuff. I read the draft EIR, and they keep using the word feasible. For 1,000 pages, feasible. What's feasible for you is not feasible for me. So they might say, well, $1 is too much. It's not feasible. So we won't do that. The other thing in the draft EIR was they said, on many occasions, we have done more than the minimum required by law to control the odors. Sounds like they do a lot, doesn't it? So I go to the meeting and I ask Mike Dean, Mike, could you please tell me the minimum? Because I would like to write on this. He goes, there is no minimum. So if you stood up and closed your door, you did more than the minimum. That's all you have to do is close your own door. I think that's ridiculous. I'm going to let Darrell park. I am going to cover, was it Elsinore Canyon? You were at that wonderful meeting now. It was actually a fantastic meeting. The Santa Clarita City Council. And if you watch Wes's face, she's watching me the whole time like, I think I know him. They're bragging about how they fought Elsinore. And boy, you don't want that stuff. And we fought them. We fought them. We kept your air clean. That's what we did for you. And the next speaker is Al, two others, and then me, and I said, where are you for sunshine? Because you're getting the same air. And they just basically stared at me. They blank stares. They've come out and said that they're not going to take a stand. Well, why would you take a stand? Go back and follow the money. Sunshine helped every one of you get in the office. You're not going to take a stand. PM 2.5 and particulate matter and 10. In this area alone, we exceeded it 66 days. Chiquita Canyon landfills admit they will violate it all those times. The World Organization says you should never exceed more than 3 days. 66 days in a year in this valley. And you don't think the landfills are playing a role because they're playing a huge role. I know I want to cover something else, but I'm going blank because I live by a landfill. I'm going to bring up him, but if it comes to mind, oh yes, in the draft EIR, what they're using now is they brought their own scientist to test the air. And my question was, did you know the scientist was there when he was testing? Absolutely. Do you see a problem with that? Because if a scientist is testing the air for smells, when you know they're there, you're making sure that you're doing the best you can. But guess what? The scientist caught smells. 6% and 9% of the day. And that's with them doing their best. And they say, well, it's only 6% of the day throughout the day, because we don't know when the winds will change. 6% of the day is 1 hour and 26 minutes a day that we have to endure the stench. But not, I might get 10 minutes here and I might get it 2 hours later for another 10 minutes. That's 43 hours and 2 minutes a month. 525 hours and 6 minutes a year. Imagine 9%. Now I'm going to let Darrell come up and talk. Thank you.
I think we can all agree that cancer is a bad thing. Am I doing that? We can all agree that cancer is a bad thing. We can all agree that when a government signs a deal with people and those people sign it in good faith. In 1997, these people who don't have power, they're not rich, they're not huge landowners. They have small houses. They're trying to raise their families, and they're stuck next to a landfill. So they wanted to expand the landfill, and in 1997, they signed an agreement in good faith. Hey, when it hits a certain tonnage, which is 23 million tons, which they hit in June, it's closed no matter what. The county just blows through that. The problem is, if the county's going to screw over them, the county's going to screw over you, and the county's going to screw over the next people. They will. We have to stand up and fight for these folks. This isn't a complicated problem. You guys in your generosity may not know this, but you with your tax dollars bought a beautiful, if you can call a landfill beautiful, there's a facility called Mesquite. It's many, many, many miles from anywhere in the middle of nowhere. You can only get there by rail. Anywhere you put a landfill, it's going to leak through the air and it's going to leak through the groundwater. It just will. I don't care if it's caveman or modern day. It will leak. Nasty stuff gets put in there. You need to put that stuff far from groundwater and you need to put it far from people. This facility that you guys have generously paid for had a 5-year environmental study. It cost about $400 million. It will hold all of LA's trash for 100 years. We need to do lots of things to improve what we're doing with our trash. I show everybody my wallet, which is a used bicycle tire. As a cyclist, I put lots of these in the trash in my lifetime. This cost me $25. The raw materials of this are $0. We can be smarter with our trash. There's a woman who makes a really good living selling these wallets. If you get creative, when you take your trash, billions of dollars can be made. But what we have with this Chiquita landfill, we have to close it, we have to close Sunshine. We move that trash far from any residence, far from any school, far from where people are. You get really responsible about how that trash is dealt with. And people say, oh, it's going to cost more. You know what? The 1978 Volkswagen Rabbit that I learned to drive on, that costs less than the cars now. Why? There's airbags and stuff. Our society said, hey, if you have to pay a teeny tiny bit more so that when you get in a crash you don't die, you do that. People will tell you, oh, the costs are going to be insane. They're not. What's going to be different is the people who are getting paid now are not going to get paid then. And frankly, given who some of these people are, that's a really good thing. We need to be responsible with our trash. We need to do things to improve it. But you've already paid for this facility. It's already there. It's already set up. The rail line already exists. All the environmental stuff is already done. This is the future. This is what we need to do. I mean, the real future is we need to get to zero trash. But in the meantime, this is a facility that's not going to poison people. This is a facility that's not going to make people be stuck when they signed a deal in good faith. And this is really important because if the government will screw someone over who doesn't have power, it's not going to be that long till you get screwed over as well. So we have to stand up and fight for these folks. They'll talk bloody murder about how much more your trash is going to cost. Different people are going to get paid. And if you have to pay a few cents more to make sure that people don't get cancer, I will look anybody in the eye and say that's an amazing deal. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Isn't he great? I did promise Sarah, tomorrow Sarah's going to be at the St. Stephen's Episcopal Church. They're going to talk about the history of landfills. The maps that we passed out, when you see Chiquita Canyon says, oh, there's no cancer risk, that's Chiquita Canyon's map of the cancer risk. So you can look at it. It's their map. We're at 9.3 in Valverde. 10 is the highest you can go, and you exceed. The Newhall Ranch development will be at 15. And you know what AQMD actually recommends? Less than 1. But we're at 9.3, so we're not at the highest level, so it's okay. We're up there. Al, if there's any questions, I feel fine. Al, always thank you. Thank you. Al's one of the first people that actually listened to us and gave us a chance. Yes. Sarah will be. I actually teach in the morning. I'm one of those horrible public teachers, but I teach in the morning, so I'm probably going to get some sleep somewhere in there.
At what time are you going to be there at St. Stephen's?
7:30 p.m. And it's going to be the history of landfills. And they called me and said, should we bring up Sunshine? Well, it's the history of landfill. Absolutely. Sunshine, if you know, we're not the only ones getting screwed over. Sunshine was supposed to close, and 2 weeks before they were supposed to close, the county stepped in, and voila.
That's my church.
Oh,
I'll
excellent.
be there.
Okay.
I'll spread the word.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Right here.
Yes.
Why don't you let everyone that lives in Santa Clarita know about this?
Al, have I been there? I have begged. I have been at city councils. I have written
Why don't
articles.
you send them these maps and that information
I don't have
about
the
all
money.
these landfills and how
I don't have the money.
badly spread?
I don't have the money. I go to, Sally knows me, I met her at her
how
church.
much is your cancer worth?
I have no money. I'm only a school teacher.
Well,
But I do. I go. If you look at me, I'm here now. When I get up at 3 in the morning, I'm here. I go every person who invites me, I go. It has to start somewhere. And Sarah goes, and Sarah's sick.
Well,
Sarah's fought cancer.
why can't you just, people that you know, make flyers and give them to the
We're doing it.
neighbors
We're doing it. That's why I'm
This
here.
is the first time I've ever heard of this.
Are you serious? We've been fighting it for 3 years now. 3 years.
Take your phone. Take pictures of that.
Hey, I need you in the camera.
Sorry. If you can take that, take a picture of it, put it on Facebook or however you communicate with your friends, that's really important.
Citizens for Compliance, look them up. Facebook us. Facebook us. We've been fighting for 4 years. We've had, people used to sit outside my house In the beginning when I first started fighting, and one guy that we thought was fighting with us said, look, if someone's outside your house, you got to get out of this fight because it's mafia. They're going to kill you. So what I did was I started writing articles. There's people sitting outside my house. And they started publishing. They quit sitting outside my house.
Yeah, if the mafia was sitting in front of my house, I'm from New York, I'd probably be friends with them.
But I'm telling you, for 4 years, we started the first 2 years. We couldn't even get anybody to pick us up anywhere. No one would even write about us until Darryl Manzer came forward and he said, look, I want to write about you. LA Times has ignored us. We've done press releases. We've getting them out there now, but it's been 4 years of fighting. We're ignored. You can look me up now. I'm a bully. I'm an ISIS terrorist. I've been fighting. That's all Dave Bossert. He writes great stuff about us, but yeah, excellent. And just keep, the more we get, I've been there. Call Catherine Barger at 626-590-7178 because she's a yes vote. You change her, a landfill gets closed. That's how I believe.
Where is the Mesquite facility?
Huh?
Where is the Mesquite facility you spoke of?
It's in Indio County?
Yeah, it's Indio County, and it's by rail. So if you go on, just go on Google Earth. It's not in LA County. It's literally far from anything. Because you need your trash to be as far away from people as possible.
To be fair, Mesquite does have a town for 2 weeks of the year. A whole bunch of people drive up with bikes, they set up tents, and that's a town for 2 weeks of the year, and they hit the desert dunes. So, any other questions?
Yes, I sent a letter, a 10-page letter to the supervisor and the county. I don't drive, so I cannot be with you guys for Chiquita, but I'm acting with writing, and things like that, and I have a lot of comments. And they said they are going to take care of my comments. How I'm going to be sure that they are going to answer all of my comments?
All your comments at this point, because they've closed the draft DIR, now we're not allowed to comment. I would write all my comments and concerns and I would send them to all 5 county supervisors. Because the 5 county supervisors will make the final decision.
Okay, so but there is no way for me to know if the county has answered my comments on the EIR.
You send it through email and they'll send you an email back. But you must put at the top, please forward to all 5 county supervisors. If you don't, they only forward it to yours.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and I would mention zoning too. Make sure zoning knows everything because they should be held accountable. The Clean Hands waiver from zoning, they didn't know they had it. They didn't know they had it. And so when I'm talking to Oscar, and Oscar said, and so when can you produce the clean hand waivers? We have 2 weeks of emails. Oh, we can't find it. We're looking for it. We can't find it. Because they're writing it. They're still writing it. And, I've kept my emails. So when Oscar Gomez, we're sending emails back and forth, I go, Oscar, you should have told us there was a clean hands waiver. And he goes, well, why should I know? I go, because you're the contact person at the very end of the document. How come you didn't know? So the county, in my belief, was writing it because I work for LAUSD. I can type up any name of any document and it's right there. It's in my computer. And you couldn't find it because it took you 2 weeks to write it.
Other questions?
Okay, Al, I hope I gave you enough time.
Thank you guys so much.